Hi, everybody, and welcome to the fun world of smashing the normative. So, I'm your host, an ambitious anthropology student. Today, I'm here to talk to you about lesbians. Oh, wait, sorry. Exclusionary tactics, language usage and choice, normative moves, and why normative sucks. First off, definitions. Because sometimes words get in between us and what we are saying. I want to make sure we are both thinking that the words mean the same thing, especially if I'm wrong. For normative, I want you to think of what a dog looks like to you. Does it have 4 legs? Is it covered with fur? Has a tail that it wags? Probably a dog. That dog is your representation of what a dog is and what it means to be a dog. So that dog is your normative dog. If I bring you a stray with a missing leg, a missing ear, or naked due to a rash or an illness, you might not call it a dog. If I bring you a wolf, you might or might not call it a dog. I will not bring you a wolf. Second definition, exclusionary. So this means something that something or someone does to a separate group of people, places, or things. Example, if I said I only eat oranges, that would be excluding apples. If I said I only date men with money, then I would be excluding women, people who identify with a different gender identity, and people without money. Third definition, which is more of an explanation. Language usage and choice. This means I want to talk about what someone said, how they said it, and why they chose to say it in the way that they might mean. Why they chose to say it in that way and what they might mean by saying it in that way. So, if I chose to do this in only the words that I learned at university, the big highfalutin fancy words, then I would be talking probably not to everybody on YouTube. I would probably be talking to, my professors or other scholars? Sure. But I would be making a conscious language choice to use the words that elevate my argument to prove my point to the people that I want to prove it to. So this language choice right now means that I want this video to apply and to be understood by people from most tiers. For example, a 3-year-old may or may not have any idea what I am talking about. Now, back to lesbians. Why are we talking about lesbians? Well, when was the last time you saw one? In the media. Were they sitting down having a normal conversation like humans usually do? Or were they hypersexualized and being utilized and exploited to get across heteronormative ideals? I don't know. Does it happen in today's media where you see one or more lesbians that are interacting in a totally normal way? For sure it does. We've grown wide enough to let lesbians be on TV. Never exclusively, though. You would never see a sitcom, for example, populated entirely by homosexuals or people of different sexual orientations or even different gender identities, whereas most sitcoms are dominated entirely by the heteronormative. So let's choose an example that I love to talk about so we can talk about it. Sailor Moon. As a child, this was on my television every time that it was aired. I never missed a single episode. I watched it faithfully every day I came home from school, and it was amazing. As an adult, I realized that before certain websites had privatization and companies associated with it, you could actually find things on the internet and watch them in their original forms. So I watched it in its original form with subtitles. Mini fact here. Sub versus dub is a very big controversy in many, anime programs. Sub means that somebody has put subtitles over an original program. For example, Sailor Moon was originally in Japanese, so it would have the Japanese words on screen and you would hear them, but on the bottom would be a direct translation of what that Japanese is. And dubbed means that somebody has taken the original pictures and taken English voice actors and put them over that. So you have the original imagery that you would want to have. In some cases it has been edited, but then you would have an English word so you don't have to keep reading all the time. The original one that was aired in North America was subbed dubbed, not subbed. Back to the program. So, I remember growing up and seeing Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune and be super weird to each other, because they were cousins. Wait, cousins? I thought they were lesbians. Oh, wait, sorry. Both answers are right. They were lesbians and cousins, depending on where you lived. Now here's a quote from the wiki page on Sailor Moon in the censorship article. So, in an effort to avoid the controversy that a lesbian character in a cartoon aimed towards younger audience would cause, given the social mores, Haruka, Sailor Uranus, and Michiru, Sailor Neptune, relationship has been censored in certain countries. In North America, the former English dub stated that Haruka and Michiru are cousins, even going so far as to occasionally state this through characters who should not know such information. However, whether in an attempt to be more faithful to the original Japanese, or through sheer failure to edit consistently, several episodes of the former English dub retained a noticeable amount of their casual flirting. Awkward. Now, due to the censorship and problematic dubbing, some viewers inferred not only a homosexual relationship between the two girls, but also an incestuous one, #lesbian cousins. It has even been implied that the difficulties in dubbing Haruka and Michiru's relationship are part of the reason why there was a gap of several years between the dubbing of the earlier series and the dubbing of Sailor Moon S, a secondary series. However, it should be noted that in Japan there were also some controversies around the character. Viz Media and Studiopolis' English-language redub of the series in 2016 would address the censorship issues by restoring any deleted scene and preserving the integrity of the original Japanese scripts. So it's a whole lot of mumbo-jumbo that essentially says that they thought lesbians would be weird, so they made them cousins. But most people realized they were lesbians, so they became lesbian cousins. Even more weird. So first off, as a child, I was not an idiot, and I definitely noticed how strangely Sailor Moon acted around Sailor Uranus. It was the same way she acted when she was around Tuxedo Mask. She would get the big starry eyes and the flushed cheeks, and she would look up fondly. Kind of weird. Secondly, I noticed how weird Uranus and Neptune acted towards each other, as in hitting on each other, and sometimes getting super close. And in anime, in a romantic scene where two lovers are embracing, there's often flowers, a close-up, a scale from bottom to top, and that would happen frequently when they embraced or when they hugged and stuff like that, which is not normal between two female characters. And thirdly, why is it better to have incestuous cousins than just plain lesbians? How can that be? The caption stated that the reason for the change is controversy around airing lesbians to children. You start to think, how often have you seen lesbians in proactive roles and existing outside gender stereotypes or biases? For example, Sailor Uranus is constructed as masculine. She has the typical butch haircut, which is short. She's portrayed in a very masculine manner in every aspect except her Sailor Scout outfit, which is the same as all the other Sailor Scouts, which is very interesting because that's the only time she's actually portrayed, really as a woman, as opposed to the male form in the lesbian, because a lesbian couple needs to have a male and a female form, obviously. Sailor Neptune was the epitome of femininity. Long flowing hair, the scout of water, soft voice, etc. Neptune had a gentle attack, while Uranus had some earth-shattering, crazy power that shook the earth around it. And Uranus's voice was deep and masculine as well. So these images of Uranus as male, though we know her to be female, create an illusion of normalcy. Uranus occupied the male position in the relationship, even in the original version where they were both lesbians. So where does the line stop? Is it better to be existing in North America, where we're given the lesbian cousins, or is it better to exist in Japan, where we're given lesbians who are portraying typical normative fulfilling roles, as in the masculine role and the feminine role in a relationship, in which both can fulfill either of those obligations or neither of them if they so choose? Regardless of which side, it's important to remember that you are showing this to children who haven't really decided which side that they fall on yet, if they're choosing a side at all. So this exclusion to the peripheries of media create the distance between the identities and the different sexual orientations that are a big part of the problem in bridging the gap. I am out of time for this evening, but be sure to join me next week when I talk about why people in the Americas only speak white. That's all for now, and I hope to see you next week.